Testing time. Question, experiment, learn. Episode 3. Shotgun spread. Hipfire versus ADS. In this episode, I'm going to talk about 3 different things. The hipfire spread while not moving, the hipfire spread while moving fully, and the spread while aiming down sights. I tested these 3 things without steady aim and with steady aim to see the differences. I did these tests in order of the shotguns. So started with the Olympia, moved on to the Stakeout, followed by the Spaz 12, and ending with the HS10. I first did these tests without steady aim, and then I followed up with steady aim to see the differences. As you can see on screen, I just finished firing with the Olympia while aiming down sights, and you can see how it compares to the regular hipfire. And then I start moving to show you the max hipfire, which is quite inaccurate. For all these tests, I start off by aiming down the sights and firing till I fill up the spread. And then I get up ADS and I show you what it looks like when you fire from the hip and are not moving. I don't actually shoot when I'm doing that, but you can see and compare from the crosshairs compared to how inaccurate or accurate the spread is from aiming down sights. And as you can see with the Stakeout, the aiming down sights is quite accurate compared to the normal hip fire and the hip fire when you're moving. And as you've seen already, after I finish the shooting while standing still, I move back and forth so the crosshairs get bigger and you can see the full spread. When going into these tests, I really didn't know what to expect, because in Call of Duty 4, the 2 shotguns, they had a slight difference in the hip fire and when you're aiming down sights, and I don't remember exactly what it was, but I just know it wasn't too much of a difference. And for Modern Warfare 2, all the shotguns basically had the same hip fire as aiming down sights, so I really didn't know what to expect in this. It was going to be more or less, and as you've seen so far, the hip fire and the aiming down sights can be really different. Here's the final shotgun before we go to the steady aim test. And when we do go to the steady aim test, make sure to notice how much more accurate the hip fire is compared to when you didn't have steady aim, because it will make a huge difference, especially how you should be playing with the shotgun. If you should be aiming down the sight when you're moving or not, or if when you're moving, standing still, if you should be aiming down the sights or not. If you haven't done so already, feel free to pause the video at any time to see the difference in the spreads, because I am going by them pretty quickly in these tests. So here's the Olympia with steady aim, and the aim down sight spread is going to be the same, obviously, because steady aim doesn't affect that. But look at the normal spread with the hip fire. It's incredibly small compared to what it was before, and it's even less than the aim down sights. And when you're moving, before it used to be incredibly inaccurate, now it's about the same as the aim down sights, meaning that steady aim really affects this weapon and can make it much more effective at range. Now for the Stakeout. If you remember, the aim down sight was incredibly accurate compared to the other shotguns in the first test, so it's going to have the same accuracy. But look at this. The crosshair is about the same size as it is when you fire aim down sights, so steady aim isn't going to affect this as much when you're standing still or using the sights. And due to the fact that when you're moving, since it's more accurate to use the sights, you're going to be using the sights, so steady aim might not be the best choice for the shotgun. And due to the fact that you only get 4 rounds per reload, it's probably better to have sleight of hand anyways. The SPAS here is kind of like the Olympia, where the aim down sights is about equivalent to the hip fire while moving with steady aim. So if you're standing still, it's better to just shoot from the hip, and if you're moving, you can aim down sights or you can hip fire. They're about the same, so it really doesn't matter. Now, I'm not going to talk about the last shotgun because all the other shotguns outclass it, and really the only advantage it has is that it can be dual wielded, so the aim down sights test that I do in here really doesn't matter. But I want to talk about what this video means. It's basically, this is just the test that I did, and there's going to be a hopefully helpful video coming out where I have a spreadsheet of what method you should use at what ranges and the exact accuracy of these shotguns. So look forward to that, because that's going to be more helpful than this one. This is just showing how I tested it and how I came to the conclusions I came to, and that I'm not just like pulling these numbers out of my ass. So yeah, that video will be in the description, and there'll be an annotation once it goes up. Bam, said the lady.